So Ant-Man and the Wasp just released their second trailer, and there's a ton of Easter eggs, hints, and missable details. But don't worry, I'm gonna break down everything you missed and more. So sit back, relax, grab a snack, and make sure you're subscribed to Got Culture so you don't miss anything Marvel. Alright, let's jump into it. The trailer opens with Scott walking down the street in San Francisco, but to be honest, we've seen a lot of this stuff before, same with these first couple of scenes. We've seen the awards ceremony, but then the thing we've all been waiting for, more Jonathan Majors audio.
I'm the man who can give you the one thing you want. What's that? Time.
And here Kang's pretty directly calling out Scott, waving the thing in front of his face that I think he wants more than anything else, which is time back with young Cassie. I think we all remember him building the ant forts, and quite frankly, to go from being on house arrest to getting snapped is kinda rough. Dude just wants to take his daughter to Disneyland. And the trailer jumps around a little bit here. It's basically interspersing a lot of the footage we've seen with little small snippets of new stuff. We get another shot of the machine that Cassie builds at the beginning that kind of like gets them all into this mess. I don't know if this is just gonna be a plot device to get them down there or if this is gonna have some sort of secondary use at some point. But either way, it looks like Marvel really knows what we want here, and they're pretty much just giving us more and more Kang the Conqueror. We get a couple of epic shots like this. And why are his eyes blue here? Does anybody know in the comments? Please let me know if you have some sort of idea. Is it another variant? Is it just the remnants of the mask activating? Is it maybe like retinal oriented so no one else can use it, or only other Kangs can use it? Or maybe retinal scans are the only way to make sure only this Kang can use it. I really have no clue, but I'm so curious. It's clear this is a story about time, which makes sense because of how close a relationship Kang has with time. If you don't know, Kang is a time-traveling villain from the 31st century who actually starts out as a descendant of Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four. It's just that Kang's original timeline didn't have as many issues, so there was a lot of prosperity and time for people to work on advancements. That's why all of Kang's tech is not only wildly more advanced than anything we could think of, it's also like utopian advanced. Anyway, moving on, we get this epic shot of Chronopolis. And at this point, I think Marvel Studios is really just showing us how much power Kang has and how advanced the stuff is, because to be trapped in the quantum realm with almost literally nothing and this is what your empire looks like, I mean, I don't know. And right after that, we get this line from Janet Van Dyne.
I can rewrite existence.
So yeah, it looks like Miss Minutes was telling the truth. He can break timelines, and I mean, I know it was like this in the comics, but to see this translated into the big screen is just really cool. And with that line, Janet says, "You cannot trust him," which I feel like is gonna be pretty obvious, and I feel like Scott's gonna know that, and it might be that decision where Scott says, do I want this time with Cassie more than I want to be a hero? Effectively the same decision that Tony had to make. How far are you willing to go for a second chance? Now here we get a brief shot of a character known as M.O.D.O.K. Now M.O.D.O.K's been around since 1967. He's not a new character by any means. He actually is played by the same actor who played Yellow Jacket in Ant-Man 1, and M.O.D.O.K is actually a key figure in a group called AIM. And if that sounds familiar, that's because you probably watched Iron Man 3, where we have the glow stick known as Aldrich Killian, who sets up AIM and tries to recruit Tony as an investor slash just interested party, I guess. So I'm really curious to see how M.O.D.O.K winds up translating into the MCU and what exactly he brings to the character, because right now I'm pumped. And then moving on, we get this eerie line from Kang where he says,
Let me make this easy for you.
Let me make this easy for you. Eek. Now I want to stop here and look at this scene because to me, this really looks like Shang-Chi's The Ten Rings. It looks like Kamala's band. It even kind of reminds me of the Eternals. And I don't know if that's just because good tech is hard to CGI or if that's because these are all supposed to be connected. I mean, if I were really putting my theory hat on here, it would look like Kang, being the time traveler that he is, or his variants at least, have left a ton of artifacts throughout the quote-unquote sacred timeline. And I'm beginning to wonder if they were only left as artifacts for humans to play with because of the fact that Kang was trapped in the quantum realm. So if the leaks for this movie are true and he really does need Scott to go into the quantum realm to get some cool stuff for him, or I say cool stuff as a placeholder for like insert power drive here, and then it stands to reason that that's why people like Wenwu and Shang-Chi have been able to use these rings, because Kang just hasn't had time to come get them. And now being let out from the quantum realm by Scott, he might really have an opportunity to wreak havoc on the timeline. And moving on, we get Kang threatening just that. You will bring me what I need or everything you call life will end. This is basically an origin movie for Kang the Conqueror. Obviously it's not his true origin as Nathaniel Richards, but this is his entrance and introductory. This is like basically his LinkedIn page to us as a fan base. I think he's gonna come in here like Thanos in Act 1 of Infinity War and just burn the house down. Moving on, we get more confirmation that this is actually the Conqueror variant because he's the one with these scars on his face. I'm sure there's gonna be a couple more visual markers like this throughout the variants we meet, but Jonathan Majors has confirmed in an interview that this is the Conqueror, so I think that's gonna be the main distinguishing distinguishing feature is these big scars. He actually has these in the comics, but they're just like there. There's no real canon reason. He just has these lines down his face. And it looks like the quantum realm actually gets pretty trippy because Scott is just shredding apart like, well, Reed Richards did in Multiverse of Madness, and even kind of like Mantis did when Thanos played with the Reality Stone, which really just goes to show you two things. One, how strong the Reality Stone is, and two, how wild this movie is actually going to get. There's a lot of these weird acid trip level shots in here that I don't want to break down too much because I feel like stuff just gets wonky in the quantum realm, especially outside of Chronopolis. But then we get this shot of Kang standing over Scott and taunting him. And then we get probably one of the coolest lines in the entire trailer from Scott.
I don't have to win. We both just have to lose.
We just both have to lose. What a goat, dude. Although I still kind of feel like he's gonna try to take the time with Cassie. I feel like that's a good line at least. And then we get a couple more cool shots of Kang's suit, and that's it. They're out. Now, how much of this trailer can we trust? How much of it is actually shot for shot gonna be in the movie? We don't know. But what we do know is it's setting the tone for a fantastic piece of content from Marvel Studios. And I, for one, cannot wait to see how crazy this movie gets with Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror, and of course, Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. So if you don't want to miss any more Quantumania news, or frankly any Marvel news in general, please subscribe to Got Culture. My name as always is Kane. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you very soon with some more Marvel content.